You can follow him at RapSheet on Twitter. Ian, good morning to you. Thanks for taking some time with us. And I guess congratulations for your favorite team getting a lot better in the last 72 hours.
You know, first of all, thank you guys for having me. I got to be honest, I'm so used to bad things happening to the Mets that part of me is kind of like, all right, at some point, maybe I'll find out something about the trade I didn't know. Medicals will be kind of weird. Like, I don't know. I'm still waiting for it to come crashing down a little bit. But you guys got to understand, as a Mets fan, we never get good news. Like, we have a new owner who is awesome and is willing to spend and also wants to build it from the inside out in the right way. And I came into the offseason being like, all right, if we can get a catcher, I say we because obviously I play for the Mets. If we can get a catcher, I think that would be something that would be, beneficial. All right, well, how about, one of the better catchers available in the can? Okay, great. And then we get the Lindor trade dropped right in my lap while I'm on the fan. I mean, I was not joking. I was getting chills. It's like an earth-shaking trade that the Mets would never have done in all my time rooting for them growing up.
I'm telling you, we watch you enough in football all the time, and so to hear you cross over like this is amazing. You're dead on point. My question, I'm going to take you back a little bit. When did this Met Fest start for you? When did you become a Met fan? Take us inside real quick.
So I grew up in Westchester, New York, where I still live, actually, and I've been a Mets fan as long as I can remember. I mean, I would say my earliest memory is of having to, that epic Mets-Astros, like, marathon playoff game, right? Leaving swim practice and being like, oh, my God, the game is still on. I was probably 6 at the time. I remember sitting on my couch watching Jesse Orozco throw his mitt high up in the air that probably still hasn't come down. I used to go with my buddies from high school, and, we'd go get upper deck seats, way up there, and we'd go kind of sneak down. I was a fan of black jerseys. Always been a fan of the black jerseys.
He's bringing it back.
I've been a Mets fan. I went to Columbia and I had the Mets Sunday package. So every Sunday morning, and it's college and you're not feeling great on a Sunday morning, let's be honest. I'd go sit with like my mom and my brother, go watch a Mets game, on Sundays at 105. I mean, I've been a Mets fan as long as I can remember. I've endured a lot of really bad things and some good moments as well.
I just was able to accurately date stamp your age, Ian, talking about that Mets-Astros game. Yet another very successful member of the sports media that is substantially younger than you and I.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about
it. The sun is setting on our act, I'll tell you. Hey, I want to ask you, and our Keith Costas made a great point to us here during a break. It's interesting when you talk about some big NFL markets and big Major League Baseball markets, the different course that their baseball and football teams are on. Cleveland, NFL team stock is up. The Indians, or whatever they're going to be called, they are retooling. Same thing in New York, where the Mets stock is way up, but the Jets and Giants continue to go in different directions. It's not kumbaya for fans in those markets. It's almost like you got to pick a sport if you want to win.
Well, I would say at least the Giants look like they're headed in the right direction. Like, listening to Joe Judge, watching the product on the field for the Giants, like, I feel like they maybe haven't figured out, as long as Daniel Jones is what they think, I think the Giants are headed in the right direction. For the Jets, I mean, they have an opportunity. They have a lot more work to do than the Mets have to do. I mean, I think the Mets are, at least I could see the pieces of, I mean, they competed like crazy last year, which they weren't even that good, and they still competed like crazy. So I like the way the Mets are going, and maybe there's some similarities with the Giants there. The Jets are basically starting over. I mean, they're in the middle of a coaching search right now. They got 2 interviews today. Arthur Smith and Aaron Glenn get an interview for their head coaching job today. We got to figure out, is Sam Darnold the quarterback of the future? Are they going to take one at number 2? I mean, the Jets have a lot more work, but I think the Giants are probably pointing in the right direction.
So with the national championship tonight, Bama is probably the clear leader in this thing, although I think Ohio State's going to give them a battle.
Spread's 8.
Is Trevor Lawrence, I know Clemson's not in it, but is he clearly the number 1, and why do you think so if he is?
Yeah, I mean, he is from all the general managers and top evaluators I've spoke with. He is not just the best prospect this year. He is the best prospect they've come across in a very long time. I mean, I had someone say he's the best prospect they've evaluated since Andrew Luck. Another one said since Peyton Manning. I mean, this guy he's the real deal. Skills, tools, leadership. He's a rock star. It seems like a really good person. So, talent-wise, I think he is everything you'd want. The only interesting caveat here is there is a possibility that the Jacksonville Jaguars hire Urban Meyer as their head coach. Urban Meyer, obviously, rose to prominence again at Ohio State, winning national championships. The former Ohio State quarterback, Justin Fields, is going to be one of the top quarterbacks taken. If Urban does get the Jags job, does he go to the former Ohio State quarterback or does he go to Trevor Lawrence? That's an interesting open question, but just overall prospect-wise, Trevor Lawrence is everything they said he was going to be.
Yeah.
Hey, Ian, you mentioned Justin Fields, and Harold and I talked about this after the Sugar Bowl a lot. How he talked about his baseball background at various points during the year. We hear a lot about these outstanding quarterbacks, these multi-sport freaks, if you will, who were great at both games. Kyler Murray, Justin Fields. We keep going on and on and on. Yesterday in the Bears-Saints game, Drew Brees kind of paid homage to his baseball background as a fan by wearing some pretty cool kicks with some of his all-time favorite baseball players on it. We found this pretty fascinating. I don't know if you guys at the NFL Network noted this as we did.
Yeah, I noticed it too. First of all, so Baker Mayfield, after last night's game, stopped his interview midway through and turned his hat backwards as kind of a nod to his critics who don't like that he wears his hat backwards. You showed the Griffey cleats. I cannot. It's so funny. I remember growing up and watching Ken Griffey Jr. hit batting practice with his hat backwards, and everybody lost their minds, not realizing that he's far ahead of his time. And it's okay to express yourself and wear your hat backwards if that's what you want. I remember that was a big issue. Now it's like, I can't even believe that was the thing. But you mentioned the crossover with baseball. I see it all the time. I see it with Kyler. And I see it with Patrick Mahomes, the off-balance throws, being able to square yourself, if you're off kilter, but still your shoulders are pointing in the right direction. Or you can see sometimes they look like, Mahomes half the time looks like a shortstop, turning two. These guys are like arguments for kids playing multi-sports growing up. They're like arguments against specialization because I can see the baseball player in them when they're out there running around making plays, and I hope that everyone else can too.
I do too, and that's a great message. We preach that all the time. We want kids to play multiple sports.